In the last 12 months, $405,000 in annualized life premium. $612 Medicare Advantage sales. Yeah, baby. That's some serious numbers. Oh man, that would have taken me years to complete back in the day. Really, really good. So, Evan, with that, come share your knowledge, man.
Hell yeah.
And wow, this group.
Thank you, Evan. Thanks. I get this one. Cool. Okay, so I don't know who's in the audience, so by a raise of hands, how many of you have your shit together? Raise your hands. Duford's got it. Yep. Okay. In other words, yeah. Gonna have to get back to you on that one. Who has over 100 clients on the books? Raise your hands. 100, 200, 300. Okay. Duford, 1,000. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so today we're going to talk about, does anybody know what KPI stands for? Okay, we're going to talk about how to get your shit together if you don't have it already. It's going to make you more money. It's going to get you really amped about being a Medicare life insurance ACA agent. And it's just going to make your life way better. Okay, cool. So there's two aspects of our business. Who knows one of the aspects of our business? It's acquisition. I don't know if you guys can see that. I put it in really small font. What's the other side of the business? The first side is acquisition. What's the flip side? Retention. Boom. So there are certain KPIs. KPI is a key performance indicator, and that's exactly what it is. It's a key performance indicator. It's an idea of how your business is running, and it's really important metrics that you guys need to know concerning your business. All right. So does anybody know what an acquisition KPI might be? What's an example of an acquisition KPI? What's something that's really important to know when you're acquiring clients? What's a really good metric to know when you're selling? Boom. That's one of them, but yeah. CPL, okay, there's three big ones. CPL, cost per lead, all right? That's pretty easy to understand. Conversion rates, all right? So how many leads convert into actual clients? And CAC, client acquisition costs. Can anybody name another acquisition-related KPI? Cost per appointment, right? It's not as important, but that's another one. Anybody else out there?
Lead cost.
Sort of. Another one is like call time, right? How long are you on the phone? If you have an LOA agency, there's a bunch of other stuff that you might want to know. But just for this, we want these main three. Which one is most important? I might have said that before. Which one's most important? Raise your hand if you think it's the first one, cost per lead. Is that the most important thing? Okay. How about conversion rate? Is that the most important thing? Nope. Client acquisition cost is the most important thing. If I'm investing in your business, all right, let's say you own Topgolf. If I'm investing in your business, there's two big metrics that I want to know. The two most important ones. One of them is CAC. I need to know your CAC. If you're my downline agent and I'm training you, I need to know your CAC. If I'm investing in your public business like Walmart or Topgolf, whatever the hell it is, I need to know how much it costs you to obtain a client. If you don't know that, you're not getting my money. You shouldn't get your own attention. So you guys need to know with your own business. Now, can you run a successful business without knowing these things? Yeah, like you get your deposits and everything. But to have an idea of how you're doing and how to grow and expand, it's going to give you the clarity of thought to be able to do that and the conviction. All right, so how do you calculate CPL? There's a couple different ways to do it depending on what kind of leads you have. This is me as an example. So these are raw numbers. This is the most intimate I've gotten with the crowd as far as how much money I make and what I spend with my business, okay? So the way that you calculate CPL is if it's TTC lead, you guys know how much your CPL is because you buy them per lead. It's like 28 or 25 bucks. But let's just say you're generating your own leads. How does this work? Okay, it's not showing up, but you have your advertising spend divided by the number of leads that you have. So if you advertise, your spend is $100 and you get 10 leads, it's 10 bucks a lead. All right. So for me, last year in 2022, I spent 55,404 and I got 1,539 leads. That led to cost per lead last year of $36. This year, it's turning out to be $42. So it's up 20%, which is as Biden would say, a BFD. You know what that means? Yeah. And this is all direct mail. So the reason that this is going up is because less people are filling out postcards and the cost of mail is going up, right? The cost per thousand last year was like $4.90, and this year it's like $5.10 or $5.50, depending on where you're dropping. So it's going up. Now, what does that mean for my bottom line? It means that my bottom line just went down 20% because it cost me 20% more to generate my leads. If it costs me 20 more, then it takes away from my profit. All right. Oh, this is just an example. This is proof, but the 360 Financial Group, in there's what, 1,839. So that's considering this year and last year, but it's about 1,539. Okay, conversion rate. Conversion rate's important too. Ratio of leads to sales. So last year I had 1,539. I had 584 sales, and that's a 38% conversion rate. Now, what Luis said about my 612, that wasn't actually last year. That wasn't like in the past 12 months. I had a 12-month run where I did 612, but last year I did 584. That's a 38% conversion rate, okay? Now, the important thing to think about this, and this takes into account referrals, it takes into account when you go into one house and you sell 2 policies. So you have your total number of leads into how many sales. Like yesterday, I had 1 appointment, I sold 2 freaking people, right? So it takes into account that 38% conversion rate. Now, if I know that I'm converting 38% of my sales, 38% of my leads into sales, what does that do to my mentality in buying leads? Gets me freaking amped because I know what my ROI is going to be. Okay, ROI. Who knows what that stands for? All right, ROI is a really important KPI. It's a really important key performance indicator. Same exact idea. All right. Appointment rate is not that important. And conversion rate is important, but it's not the end all be all. Okay, CAC. CAC is your marketing spend divided by the number of sales. Okay, how much it costs you to acquire a client. So for me, it's my lead cost plus I have an appointment setter that books all my appointments, so I just show up and I sell the thing divided by number of sales. So for me, it was 104. It cost me $104 to acquire a client. You guys need to know that. You guys need to know how much it costs you to acquire a client. Now, this takes into account, the reason that this is the most important is because it takes into account the cost per lead, but also takes into account conversion rates, okay? If you guys try to lower your cost per lead, what do you freaking do if your conversion rate goes down too? That just means you have to buy more leads and you're just spinning your wheels. Now, let's say you have a conversion rate of, let's just say 50%, and that maintains constant, then yeah, you want to cut down on your cost per lead if you're keeping the same closing rate, right? Or if you have the same lead, right, the same lead spend, you want to increase your conversion rate as much as you can. And there's different ways to do that. I'm not going to talk about that here. But that's the way that you should think about it. At the end of the day, when the numbers knock out, you need to know your client acquisition cost. Okay. So we went over acquisition KPIs. These are key performance indicators, key aspects of your business. On the sales side, the flip side of that is retention. Who thinks they know a really good, really important retention KPI? Just yell it out. What? What? You got it. Persistency and LTV. Okay, so when I said the 2 most important KPIs that I need to know with your business, it's CAC, how much it costs to acquire a client, and your LTV, lifetime value. Now, in final expense and life insurance, it's really, really easy to calculate your LTV because it's how much your commission is. We don't really care about the renewals off of life. But with Medicare, we get paid every year that the client's on the books, okay? So the persistency and the commissions, what, $301 per year? That's how you get your LTV. How do you calculate your LTV? Oops, I went ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I'm going to talk about my persistency. Okay, so persistency, if you guys don't already know, you guys probably have an idea of this, but it's the number of clients that stay on the books every 12 months. So it's always annualized. We don't do monthly persistency. So clients acquired in 2021 who stayed on the books in 2022. If I wanted to do like an up-to-date persistency, then it would be the clients that I acquired last April of 2022 who are still on the books today, right? So for me, it was 83%. I threw 600 people on the books, give or take, and 100 fell off. So 83%, all right? You guys need to know that because you're going to use it to calculate your LTV. Now, who the hell in here knows how to calculate your LTV? Raise your hand. All right, it's a good thing I'm speaking. All right, so the way to calculate LTV is you go to a website that I created. All right, there's a manual way to do it, but it's incredibly laborious and a pain in the ass. So we're just going to go here instead. All right, it's called MediZeus. So this is an LTV calculator. So let's say you produce 100 plans in a year. All right, throw in a number in here. Actually, let's change it to 200. All right, and persistency. Mike, what's your persistency? All right, just throw in a number.
80%.
80, cool. We hit calculate. You guys are all welcome to pull this up on your phones and do it with me. Okay, so commission per MA, this is Medicare Advantage. All right, this doesn't change. But you have your true MA production. So I produced 600 plans, right? Actually, okay, these are my numbers. 600 plans, 83% persistency. I only really got paid. My true MA production was 500, 498, right? My lifetime value per MA is 1280. So when you guys are closing somebody, you're thinking in your head, all right, I'm getting what, $300 commission. If it's part of the year, then you get less than that. I mean, $300, and then I don't know, I'll get 25 a month for a couple of years, right? Well, this gives you an actual idea of how much money is going to come in throughout the life just that one client. Now, loyalty, okay? Loyalty is represented in the orange and also LTV per MA, loyalty effect. I put that in there. It's not super accurate. Basically, what it does is it just humanizes the client and says, hey, if somebody sticks with you 1 year, they're more likely to stick with you another year. If they stick with you 2 years, they're more likely to stick with you another year. So it's just an optimistic way to look at it. But the raw calculation is just the green line. Now, if you scroll down, you'll be able to see how much your commissions would be annualized. All right, so that first production year, let's just call it 150 grand. All right. The next year, you'd have 124, 103, 85. And that's if you had a persistency of 83%, and you did certain methods of, retaining your clients, whether it be having them in a CRM, emails, phone calls, whatever it might be. But if you guys only produced for 1 year and you produced 600 and you had a persistency of 83%, this is exactly 100% what your numbers and what your future income is going to look like. Now, I created this calculator and Luis was like, hey, but what about if the agent keeps producing? And I said, well, Luis, you're a smart guy. So maintain production for how many more years? Let's say I crank it and I do 600 a year for the next 4 years at an 83% persistency. All right, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to hit my peak year 5. Y'all see that? Yeah. And you can see how it's going to grow. My income's going to grow. So year 5, I'm going to be doing just over $500,000. And if I hit this plus, it's going to show down the breakdown of commissions. So that year 5 is comprised of all the work that I did in the prior 4 years. So you have the production year and the renewals coming in from each prior year. All right. So the whole reason that I made this calculator was 1, so I could forecast my predictions, but 2, it's a calculator that I wanted to see when I was thinking about getting into Medicare. Because you guys have to have an idea of what's out there and what you can accomplish. And is it worth accomplishing? Is it worth accomplishing? Yes, it's 100% worth accomplishing. As long as it doesn't cost you like $1,000 to acquire a client. But Mike, if it cost me $300 to acquire a client, would I do it? 100%. It wouldn't be nice in the first year because, I'd be breaking even, but every year after that makes sense. All right. Now, the other thing is if you guys are thinking about building an agency, I created a calculator for that. So with agencies, depending on like what your level is, if you're GA, MGA, FGA, FMO, and NMO, your override is gonna vary. So like if you're an FMO, usually your override is like $75. If you're a GA, it could be less, could be more. And then you can put in your production. Let's just do 10,000, and you'll have an idea of how much money you'll make in overrides if you run an agency. All right, and you'll be able to see what else is out there, what you can accomplish. So just play around with it. The other thing that I created was a book of business evaluator. And this is mainly just for fun, but I did have my book of business valued by about 3 different companies, and they took about 6 weeks each. And I was like, this is complete bullshit. I can just create a calculator, reverse engineer everything, and make it instant. Okay, so if you guys do the book of business evaluator, my dad's name is Bob. B-O-B. Yeah, so you can get evaluation on your Medicare Advantage. Obviously, it's not a formal offer, and you are going to have to go through full underwriting if you ever want to do it, but it just gives you an idea of what you can accomplish. And if you work your ass off for like 2 years, you build up a book of business of like 800 clients, how much could you sell it for if you wanted to go, disappear for a couple of years? All right. Any questions so far? Cool. All right. So this is why it's so important to have really good retention. Now, you obviously want to get your sales down and everything like that, but I don't think out there's enough training on retention and improving your persistency. So if you're doing 75% persistency, you have an LTV of $865. Now, if you had 200 clients on the books, over the lifetime of those clients, you'd make $172,000. And you can see, if you just bump it up 10%, you go from 75% to 85%, your LTV almost doubles, right? And you're gonna make twice the amount of cash. If it goes up to 90, it doubles again, because it's all compounding, right? Okay. What are some ways to improve your persistency? That's not a rhetorical question. I want to ask you guys. What are some ways that you guys retain your clients?
Customer service.
Customer service.
I just try to call and talk to them just on a personal basis. So a lot of times.
So you
I'm
call.
billing. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Automations. What are you automating? What would you automate?
It'll be email blast, text blast.
You touch your clients? Oh, there you go.
It'll be
Digital touch. Okay. So phone calls, emails, voicemails, texts,
send out cards.
postcards. Anything else?
Bundling a little bit,
Bundling.
cross-selling other products. We just talked about that. That was brought up earlier where I'm not gonna change. I already have all this stuff with this one agent. That's too much work.
100%. That's when you're doing the sale though, right? I mean, you could cross-sell later. You're right. Yeah. But I just mean over time. The only other thing that I could think of is magazines. There's a company that does it called Reminder Media. I met some people from them. They basically put your face on a magazine and send it to your clients every, quarter, 6 months.
I do that at work.
I don't use it. I never done it. You use it? You use it?
Great.
Works great?
Great.
You get referrals?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Keep it in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real estate agents do it, financial advisors do it, insurance agents do it.
They'll send it out for you if you give it.
Yeah, they handle the whole thing. This is one other trick for persistency is go buy some of these. When you meet with your clients in person, take their Medicare card, throw it in a slip, and then throw your business card on the other side of the slip. So they get a call and the person on the phone asks for their Medicare number. And they touch their Medicare card, they flip it over. Yeah, I remember Evan, he told me not to pick up the phone for you, right? That's one thing. There's also one other Jedi mind trick. Do not disturb, well, not do not disturb. silence unknown callers. You can do that if they have an iPhone, if you're meeting with them in person. For Android, it works the same way. It's just a different way to do it. But basically, if they get a call from an unknown number, it'll just go straight to voicemail. I think if they double call, it might actually ring, but they can still leave a voicemail. So if it's important, they're not going to miss it. I do that. That's helped me out a lot. I mean, I think it's helped me out a lot. I can't actually say if it has or not, but I think it has. I haven't tested like one-on-one. What else? Okay. Now there's a huge caveat here. As far as retention goes, and persistency goes, there's one huge thing. Huge. It's non-compliant to contact a Medicare Advantage beneficiary after disenrollment. And this is a big problem in OEP. People disenrolling after AEP. It's non-compliant. So if I see on my Vantage back portal with Humana that Donna disenrolled, he's in recently inactive policy, legally I'm not allowed to contact you. Unless I have a separate business arrangement where I have like a HIP or life insurance, or I'm babysitting your kid, something like that. But yeah, so that's big. Now, do a lot of agents do necessarily abide by it? Some agents don't even know that rule, but it's really important. Here's where the big enchilada comes in. So I showed you guys MediZeus.com, okay? Those tools are free. They will forever be free. We won't ask anything from you guys to use those tools. But it's the tip of the iceberg. The real meat and potatoes is a software company that I built, okay? Over the past 6 months, I've been developing this thing, and we just got approval we pretty much just got approval by CMS like 2 days ago. No, yesterday morning, which was huge, all right? Thank you, thank you, thank you. MediZeus will notify you if your client signs up for a Medicare Advantage or a prescription drug plan within 48 hours of that happening. So normally, if Donna is with me, with let's just say United Healthcare, and you sign up with CAT, it comes into effect the first day of the next month. I don't know that you signed up with CAT until the second, third, fourth day of the next month when I see that you're a recently inactive policy. At that point, technically, there's nothing that I can do. I can't contact you compliance-wise. However, you signed up for that policy sometime in the middle of the month, and I didn't know about it. And I had however many days to contact you. I just didn't know to do so, right? So let's say, what's today? April 21st? Okay. You sign up for a policy with a CAT, within 48 hours, MediZeus lets you know, and I can contact you. You're my client. It's April. You haven't switched yet. All right. And maybe Kat didn't do a good job over the phone. She didn't know what the hell she was talking about. She's going to put in chip. I'm not saying anything, but that happens sometimes, right? Or you didn't know that you were enrolling in a new plan. Or, there's some really, really important cases that I'll get to in a second, where this could be life-saving for the client. I mean, it's life-saving for the agent.
Sometimes they just get bad information.
Yeah, bad information. Yeah, they have a med sup, sign up for MA plans.
On original Medicare all the time, but they don't realize when else they'll lose it too. It's
Right.
really horrible.
Right.
It's horrible.
Yeah. And so I developed this, I don't know, back in November, and the first time that I ran it, it didn't work. But the first time that I ran my whole book of business on it was the last day of AEP, which is the 7th of December. I ran that, and in that day, I saved 12 clients, just in that day. All right. There's only 2 people that have used it, myself and Ethan Glidewell, if you know him. He saved, it was like 20 or 25 clients. All right. Now, if we go back, how much money did I save? If I saved 12 clients and I have a persistency, let's just say my LTV is 1,000. I saved 20 clients, I just saved 20,000. Right? I saved 12 clients in a day, I made 12 grand. Right? So it's going to cost you money not to have this. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. You can monitor your entire book of business. It's 100% HIPAA compliant, which was a bitch to develop. Oh my God. Oh my God. I had to switch developers. I had to make 3 freaking versions of the thing. And it just got approved by CMS. So it's going to cost a pretty penny. Okay, I haven't finalized that. It's probably $89 a month. which is like 3 plans a year. If you save 3 plans in a 12-month period, it pays for itself. But for everybody here, okay, you guys get $0 lifetime testing, okay, for being a tester. I'm sorry.
Guinea pigs.
So email me. Okay, that's the only way you can do it. Email me now or within the next, I don't know, 10 freaking minutes. Just put me your name, all right? And if you're watching live, if you're not on right now, you're gonna miss it. I'm gonna do 20 agents this way, okay? So email me, as long as it comes in the next 10, 15 minutes, you'll get on the list and you'll have a lifetime of $0. Okay, so you get it now for $0. You'll be able to work with it probably within 3 weeks. There's a couple other packaging things that we have to get done, but 3 to 4 weeks. We'll go back and forth. We're gonna do a formal launch, so keep this on the DL, but we're doing a formal launch sometime in the beginning or middle of June. All right, that's all, folks. Thank you very much.